Hi, and welcome to your soul reading for February 2024. And I'm going to get straight into it and shuffle the cards. All right. Okay. So, first message. Okay, the waiting game. That's an interesting message because it suggests to me that you've been waiting on something consciously and subconsciously for quite some time. And sometimes you ask yourself, why am I waiting? Because it feels like there's been a little bit of stuck energy and all the retrogrades haven't really helped that. But there's also a sense here of you might still have to play a bit of a waiting game about something. And as you know, and I feel it's the romance month, February, Valentine's, etc. So, I feel like this is to do with a love relationship somehow, that you're very conscious you have been playing a bit of a waiting game on someone. And that, it means sometimes, when you do the waiting game, you go around in circles and you just feel like, am I actually getting anywhere? And, sometimes you just want to get off the carousel, if that makes sense. So there is a feeling here that there might still be a little bit of that at play. Now, free will, as I said, you can always get off it. You don't have to stay in this energy. But I do feel like there might be a little bit more of that at play, that you're still feeling that way, right? In coming into February, and that might be the theme of the month for you. Okay, second message. Oh, patience. This feeds in very nicely with the waiting game. Okay, if you think about waiting, well, that usually requires patience if you decide that you actually do want to wait. So with the patience, something that you have been putting energy into is starting to show signs of growth and progress. But more patience is still going to be required in February. So this waiting game that you're choosing to do or not do, it feels like you're going to still need more of that it's not going to be fast progress. So you will see some progress, and then you'll still need to be patient if you want to be, okay? There's no one saying you have to be. So there is very much a sense here. It's a double message here, and very applicable if you're listening to this for you, that it is going to be required more patience. If you're looking for somebody in your life, right place, right person, wrong time, that sort of thing, you will see something happening here, and you'll start seeing things moving, but it's still not going to be as fast as maybe you want. And say, for instance, for me, I've got an Aries moon. I always want things to happen yesterday. Okay, with relationships especially. So you might be very aware of your own energy, how you are with relationships. So what have we got next here? Next card. Okay, that's interesting. Wisdom. By being patient and waiting for something to just unfold in its own way, you're learning so much. You're going to look back on this, and it's going to be such a benefit to your relationships and to yourself and your own growth, that, I've just got all this light around you, and you could write a book about it. There's a sense here of you feeling very satisfied with all your learning about how this has changed you, because I feel like this has been a long-term situation. And that's why it's come up again in February or this month, because you need to revisit that to see whether you still want to be patient, to see what you've learned, to see if you need to still be patient or want to be. Like I said, free will reigns, okay? So yeah, there's a lot of lessons coming in through this, and to express those, to journal those, just if that frustration comes up, what are you learning about yourself when that comes up? Because you feels like sometimes with this waiting that you get hopeful, and then you go back to the drawing board because you realize you have to be patient again. So there's a really deeper lesson to all this. The next one, let's have a look here. Okay, so there's a feeling here of recognition and reward needed. What I pick up with that, when I see that in relation to this, is that, number one, you're going to be rewarded for the patience. That word's come up maybe already 15 times in this reading. But you are going to be rewarded for that. But there's also a need for you to reward yourself, recognise everything that you've done. This is going back into the wisdom, and it's all tying in beautifully. Because there is a real need here that you're going to be acknowledged somehow. Yeah. And it might be to do with money, because this is recognition and reward energy is typically about material. So it could mean that for some of you. But I feel if it's in relation to a special person, then it is about you being recognised for what you've done, the waiting you've done, and having that rewarded. But as I said, reward yourself. You don't always need the validation from the outside to exist, because if we lived alone on this earth, there would be no one to do that. So if you know, it's really important to go into your heart and just breathe and allow yourself, wow, I've learned so much. I'm so grateful. You know, the highest frequency energies are gratitude and compassion. So feeling that gratitude for everything that you've learned, and, you know, pat yourself on the back. That's what this is all about, this energy. We think we need, I love the validation myself, don't get me wrong, but we think we need that from the outside world all the time, but we really don't need it as much as we think we do. Because who makes us feel better if we're feeling low? Generally, well, you know, it's up to us to feel good again if we decide to, okay? People can help us, but, you know, they've got their own stuff. So there's the recognition within yourself, how far you've come with this particular lesson, okay? Okay, so the next card I've got here, interesting, because it's fertility, okay? And that goes back to fertility and patience, because this is growing. So you've got the seeds here that you planted, they're starting to germinate. They still require feeding and patience. But then there's fertility, which is the same sort of thing like being a mother, you know, growing a child. This is where your heart is also becoming more open, more fertile, more receiving, okay? Because when you receive the acknowledgement, that also opens your heart more to receive more, and it brings in that feminine energy too. But that just means that there is going to be more growth as time goes on, okay? So to remain hopeful that, you know, all the seeds you planted, the waiting that you've done is going to be rewarded. And I strongly feel this has to do with a close relationship. So that's it for me for February. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you in March. Bye for now.